Picture this. I'm standing in the middle of my parents' living room, holding an envelope so thick it feels like it could stop a bullet. Inside is a cashier's check for $427,000. Money I saved, protected, and grew in complete silence for almost 9 years. Money that was supposed to change everything. And my dad is screaming so loud the windows are shaking. That money was for Sarah's loans. You promised us. How could you do this to your sister? His face is purple. My mom is sobbing into a dish towel. My little sister Sarah is staring at me like I just set her entire world on fire. And there I am, completely calm. Because that check isn't made out to Sarah. It's made out to my older brother, Ethan. And 48 hours earlier, I put the keys to a 4-bedroom house with a wraparound porch, 20 minutes from the ocean, straight into his hand. Yeah, I gave every single penny to the brother they all forgot even existed. And I did it right under their noses. But to understand why I betrayed my own family in the most expensive way imaginable, we have to go back, way back, to when I was 15 years old and learned exactly what the word favorite really means in our house. My name is Lily, and this is the story of how I waited 9 long years to get revenge on the people who broke my brother, and how one house finally made them feel what real betrayal tastes like. Let's start at the beginning. Growing up, our house had 2 kinds of kids. There was Sarah, the princess, the golden child, the one the sun rose and set on. And then there was the rest of us, me and Ethan, background characters in somebody else's fairy tale. Sarah came along when I was 7 and Ethan was 9. From the second that tiny blonde baby opened her eyes, it was over. My parents looked at her like she was made of actual magic. New clothes every season? Sarah. Dance classes, voice lessons, tutors, summer camps in Europe? Sarah. The latest phone the day it came out? Sarah. Whenever Ethan or I asked for anything extra, Mom would sigh the same tired sigh and say, "We're on a tight budget, guys. Sarah's college fund has to come first." Funny thing, we never actually saw that college fund, because it wasn't a fund. It was us. Every overtime shift Dad worked, every skipped vacation, every birthday where Ethan and I got one shared gift while Sarah got a pile, it all went straight into Sarah's future. And Ethan got it the worst. He was brilliant, scary brilliant. Perfect grades, perfect test scores, full-ride scholarship offers from schools most people only dream about. Senior year came. Those acceptance letters were framed on his bedroom wall. Then Dad sat him down one night and said, "Son, we can't afford the plane tickets for you to go visit those colleges, and Sarah's already been promised the new car when she turns 16. We really need you to stay local and help with the bills." Just like that, Ethan gave up every scholarship. He enrolled in community college, picked up night shifts at a warehouse, and started handing over most of his paycheck for the family. I was 15, watching from the hallway, and I saw my brother's dreams die quietly on our living room couch. Nobody cried. Nobody even said thank you. That night, I made a promise to myself. One day I would make this right. I didn't know how. I didn't know when. But I swore on everything I had that one day Ethan would get back everything they stole from him. And nobody, not Mom, not Dad, not perfect little Sarah, would see it coming. Fast forward 7 years. I'm 22. Grandma passes away quietly in her sleep. She leaves me everything. The little house 3 states away, the savings bonds, the investment account nobody in the family even knew existed. After taxes, it comes out to almost $500,000. In the letter she wrote to me, and only me, she said, "Lily, you were the only one who ever called just to ask how I was doing instead of what I could give you. Use this money to protect the people you love most." I knew exactly who that was. I didn't tell a soul. Not my parents, not Sarah, not even Ethan. I moved the money into accounts under an LLC, hired a financial advisor, and let it grow in total silence. Meanwhile, Sarah kept spending like the world owed her. Designer bags all through college, spring breaks in Cancun, a brand new Jeep the week she graduated, all on the family credit card because I'll pay it back once my loans are gone. Every time the bill came due, Mom and Dad would turn to me with those big pleading eyes. "Lily, you're doing so well at your job. Could you just help this once?" And I helped. I sent chunk after chunk of Sarah's 6-figure student loans, because every time I did, they called me the responsible one, the good daughter. But every single payment I sent to Sarah's loans, I quietly moved twice that amount into a separate account labeled only E, For 9 years, I played the perfect, self-sacrificing daughter. I smiled through Thanksgiving dinners while Sarah bragged about the downtown apartment Mom co-signed for. I wrote birthday cards with checks to Sarah while Ethan was sleeping on a friend's couch because he couldn't afford rent and still send money home every month. I listened to my parents tell anyone who would listen how proud they were of Sarah for working so hard, and how grateful they were that I was always there to help the family. And the whole time, the E account kept growing. Quietly, perfectly, patiently. 2 months before everything exploded, Sarah came home crying crocodile tears. "I'm drowning in the rest of my loans. The interest is insane. If I don't pay $427,000 by the end of the year, they're going to start garnishing my wages." Mom hugged her like she was 5 years old again. Dad looked like he was having a stroke. Then all three of them turned to me. "Lily, you've always been so good with money. You said one day when you could really make a difference." I almost laughed out loud. Instead, I gave them the softest, sweetest smile I'd practiced in the mirror 100 times. "Let me see what I can do. That's a big number, but I'll figure something out." Sarah threw her arms around me, sobbing. "You're literally saving my life, Lily." I hugged her back, leaned close to her ear, and whispered so only she could hear, "Don't thank me yet." That same night, I called my realtor. I'd actually found the house months earlier. 4 bedrooms, huge yard, 10 minutes from Ethan's job, big wraparound porch facing the sunset. The exact house he used to slow the car down for when we were kids, saying, "One day, Lil, one day I'm going to own something like that." I told the realtor, "Cash offer, full asking price, close as fast as humanly possible." Then I sat back and waited for the perfect moment. I invited the whole family over for dinner. I told them it was a celebration. Sarah's finally going to be debt-free. I cooked Ethan's favorite lasagna from scratch, told him to dress nice because it was a special night. Sarah showed up in new designer heels, already talking about the vacation she was booking the second her loans disappeared. Mom and Dad kept patting my hand across the table, whispering, "We're so proud of you, honey." This is going to change Sarah's life. We sat down to eat. I stood up, clinked my water glass, and every single face lit up like Christmas morning. Sarah was already crying happy tears. I pulled the thick envelope out of my purse and slid it across the table, straight to Ethan. He frowned. "Lil, what is this?" "Open it." His hands were shaking as he tore it open. Inside, a cashier's check for $427,000 and a set of house keys on the little silver rocket ship keyring he had when he was 12. I smiled at him, voice soft but clear enough for the whole table to hear. "The house is yours, Ethan. Paid in full. No mortgage. No loans. No one can ever take it away. You never have to sleep on anyone's couch again." For 5 full seconds, the room was completely silent. Then Dad exploded. "That money was for Sarah's loans. You promised us." Sarah started screaming, "What is wrong with you?" Mom burst into tears, and Ethan just stared at the keys in his hand like he was afraid they would vanish if he blinked. I turned to my father, looked him dead in the eye, and spoke the words I had waited 9 years to say. "No, Dad, I never promised Sarah a single cent. You promised Ethan a future, and then you stole it from him so Sarah could have voice lessons and European summers. I'm just keeping the promise you broke." Sarah lunged across the table, trying to grab the envelope. Ethan pulled it back, stood up, and for the first time in his life raised his voice at her. "Touch it, and we're done forever." She froze. Dad kept yelling about lawsuits, about family money, about betrayal. I let him scream. When he finally ran out of air, I said very quietly, "Grandma left that money to me. Not to you. Not to Sarah. To me. And I chose who it would actually help." Then I looked at Ethan, whose eyes were shining with tears he was trying so hard to hold back. "Come on, big brother. Let's go see your new house." We left them sitting there, mouths open, faces red, and we drove away in my car with the keys dangling from his fingers the whole way. For weeks, my phone never stopped buzzing. Sarah left voicemails that would make a sailor blush. Mom sent 10-page text messages about how I had ripped the family apart. Dad threatened to take me to court for stealing inheritance money that was never his in the first place. I didn't answer a single one. Ethan moved in the next weekend. I helped him carry boxes up the front steps and watched my 34-year-old brother cry like a little kid standing in his own kitchen. His kitchen. running his hand along the granite countertop like he couldn't believe it was real. He kept saying, "You didn't have to do this, Lil." And I kept answering, "Yes, I did. Somebody finally had to choose you." Word traveled fast. Cousins texted asking how I could be so cruel. Old high school friends messaged saying they couldn't believe I'd chosen a brother over my little sister. I didn't explain myself to any of them. But the best part? Sarah's loans are still there. The interest is still growing. And for the first time in 26 years, nobody is lining up to rescue her. 3 months later, she showed up on Ethan's front porch uninvited. No makeup, hair in a messy bun, wearing old sweats, looking small and scared. She begged, "I'm sorry I took everything for granted. I'm sorry I never saw how much you and Ethan gave up. Please, Lily, I'm terrified." For 1 second, my heart actually hurt. Then I remembered Ethan at 19, giving up Ivy League so she could have a new car at 16. I handed her a plain manila folder. Inside was a printed repayment plan, a list of companies hiring in her field with better salaries, and a city bus schedule. I said, "You're smart, Sarah. You'll figure it out. The way Ethan had to, the way I had to. Welcome to being a grown-up." She stood there crying on the porch. I closed the door. Here's what I learned and what I want you to take from all of this. Family isn't just blood. It's who shows up when life gets hard. It's who keeps promises even when nobody is watching. It's who chooses you back. I don't hate my parents. I don't even hate Sarah anymore. I just finally stopped letting love be a one-way street. Ethan invites me over every single Sunday now for dinner in his new house. We sit on the porch he always dreamed of, drinking coffee, watching the sunset, talking about nothing and everything. And every time I pull into that driveway, I feel something I never felt growing up in my parents' house. Peace. Because revenge doesn't always look like screaming or fighting or tearing everything down. Sometimes revenge looks like justice. Sometimes it looks like quietly building someone else back up when the world told them they didn't deserve it. And sometimes it feels exactly like handing your forgotten brother the keys to the life he was told he could never have, and watching him finally come home. Thank you for listening to my story. If it made you feel something, if it made you think about the people in your life who deserve to be chosen, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and I'll see you in the next one. Because everybody has a story, and some of them change everything.